Good morning, everybody. This morning we're going to do our calendar center, and we'll go through just some parts of calendar center because I don't want to overwhelm everybody. But if you were in person in class after breakfast, we come in the room and we sit at our tables, and then we call you up one table at a time to come sit on our rug, and we do calendar center. And that's what this is up here on this wall. And we have our calendar, we have our months of the year, our days of the week, we have our straw pocket chart and our number chart that we count on every day. Also during calendar center we talk about letters and sounds and skills to help you with reading. So this morning what we're going to do is we're just going to go over today's date, and normally what we do is we talk about the month, the day of the week, and I'll usually, or if Miss Boland's the one up here doing calendar center, we'll put our hand at our chin, and when we point to you, it's your turn to repeat what we just said. So if you want to practice doing that while we post these videos, you can do that at home so that when we come back in person, then you'll be kind of had a lot of practice on how we do things in the room. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the month. And yesterday we actually ended the month of August. And after the month of August is the month September. So we've got September up here at the top of our calendar. And if you were in person, I would say the name of the month, and I would put my hand at my chin and I would say September. And then you would repeat it at home when I point to you. So we can say the month is September. And then you would say the month is September. And then also on our calendar we have the days of the week. And there are 7 days in a week. And the week actually starts on Sunday, and then typically we would be in school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We wouldn't be in school on Saturday, that's a weekend day. But yesterday's day of the week was Monday, and today's day of the week is Tuesday. So like I said, if you were in person, I would say today is Tuesday. And then you would repeat, today is Tuesday. On our calendar, we have a circle. That's what shape we're going to have on our calendar this month. And we have the number 1 on our orange circle to let us know that today is the first day of September. So, if we were going to say that, we would say, today is, and then you would repeat, today is September 1st. That would be your turn. And then over here in this box, it tells us what year it is. So our year right now is, we are in the year 2020. So we would say that whole sentence. The year is, and then you're going to repeat, the year is 2020. 2020. So we've got our whole date, and we would say today is Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. And then after we go over our date on the calendar, usually whoever has the job of being our line leader for the day would come up and help me count our straws. So we would move over to our straw pocket chart, and the line leader would come up to the front with me and help me count our straws. And every day that we're in school, we add a new straw to our pocket chart. So yesterday, Miss Boland and I went ahead and put in the number 1 and 1 straw. So our pocket chart is divided into 3 different little sections that we like to call their places or their house. So right now we're in the 1's place, and yesterday we had the number 1 because it was the first day of school and 1 straw. So today we would add a straw, and this straw would represent today's days, the second day of being at school. So we're going to add that into the 1's place. We would get those out, and we're going to count them. And as we count our straws, if the line leader were here, we would pass the straw to the line leader, and the line leader would hold the straws as we were counting. But we don't have a line leader, so I'm just going to have to use my other hand. So when you're counting objects at home that can be picked up and moved, you want to make sure if you have them in a group, that as you count it, you move them away from each other so you know these straws have been counted, these have not. So we're just going to count our straws. So if you're at home watching the video, you can count along with me. So we have 1, 2. So we have 2 straws. We put it back in the 1's place. These straws are put in here 1 at a time. That's why it's called the 1's place. We're going to take out our number 1 card and replace it with a number 2 part. Okay? So then over here on our counting chart, we have all kinds of numbers on here that are turned over. And then we go through each day and we turn another number over. Anytime that we're counting on our counting chart, if we're counting by ones and we're counting forward, we always start at 1. And so we start with our numbers at the top of our chart, and we read our numbers from the left to the right. So here's the number 1 that represented yesterday's day of school, and after the number 1 comes what number? If you know, just say it out loud. What number comes after 1? So if we turn it over, let's check and see if you were right. The number 2. So then we would count, and as I would point under the number, you all would count. We would count 1, 2. So we've been in school for 2 days. This number 2 on here matches the number that's on our straw pocket chart. 2 days of school. That's how many we've been in so far. Then after we count, usually I would read you all a story and go over some letters. So this morning I'm going to read you a poem about Jack and Jill. And if you've already been on Google Classroom, then you had an activity posted on there that talks about Jack and Jill and rhyming words. So anytime that we have 2 words that sound alike at the end of the word, then those words rhyme, like cat, hat, or blue, glue, or wig, pig. If they sound alike at the end part of the word, then they rhyme. So this morning we're going to read Jack and Jill and see if we can figure out some rhyming words. So just listen to the story and see if you see any words that kind of stick out and sound alike at the end. So the title is called Jack and Jill. It says, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. How many of you all have already heard of the story or the little rhyme about Jack and Jill? It's real common. A lot of people I know recite it to their kiddos when they're practicing rhyming words. So we're just going to read it again, and we're going to see if we can pick out some words that rhyme. So we have Jack and Jill went up the hill. Did you hear any words in that first line that made a rhyme? What about Jill and heel? Do those words sound alike at the end of the word? We have J-ill and P-ill. So they both end with that ill sound at the end. So we're just going to highlight those. I've got some highlighter tape. And we're going to put one on the word Jill. We're going to put a piece of tape on the word heel. So now when you look at that, you can see that Jill and heel rhyme. They're both highlighted in the color green. So let's keep reading. So Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Did you hear any words in that line that rhymed? What about down and crown? We hear down and crown. It both ends with the own sound. So we're going to highlight the words down and crown. And I didn't tear off enough tape, so I'm going to fix it. Okay. So we have Jill and heel highlighted in green and down and crown highlighted in red. So when we see those, we know that if the colors match, then those words rhyme. And then the end says, and Jill came tumbling after. So just remember that rhyming words are words that sound alike at the end part of the word. Also in this story, I want to talk about the names Jack and Jill. When we see the names Jack and Jill, they both begin with the letter J, but there's something special about the first letter in those names. Both of those letters are uppercase J's. So anytime that you are writing your name or you're writing somebody else's name, you always begin your name with an uppercase capital letter. So we're just going to go back through here, and anytime that I see the word Jack I'm going to give his uppercase, capital J, I'm going to highlight it in blue. So at the very top where it tells us the title of the poem, I'm going to look for the name Jack, and I see that the first letter of his name is an uppercase J. So I'm going to highlight that. Put a little piece of green tape over it so I know that that's a name, and that's Jack. So Jack and Jill. Then it starts again with the word Jack. Well, if you look, the J in Jack is an uppercase J. That's his name. Your name is very special, so you always make sure that when you write it, that you put an uppercase letter at the beginning. So we have Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack, there's his name again, and again it has an uppercase J. So I'm going to put a piece of tape over it to highlight it blue. Jack's a boy, so I'm giving him the color blue. Most boys like blue. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. So Jack is not the only person in the story. There's also the little girl named Jill. So her name is special just like Jack. And it also begins with an uppercase letter. So every time that we see Jill, we're going to give her pink tape on her name. Most little girls like the color pink. It's okay if girls like blue or if boys like pink, but most girls like pink. So we're going to give Jill a pink piece of tape. Every time we see her name, we're going to give her pink tape over her uppercase J. So it says Jack and Jill. There's her name. It's already highlighted in green one time because it rhymed with the word hill, but now we're putting pink tape over her J so that we know it's an uppercase letter. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And here's the name Jill again. And again, it has an uppercase J at the beginning of her name. So we're going to highlight it with pink tape. So today we've talked about names and how names are very, very important. So when you're at home, we want you to try to start practicing writing your name. Anytime you write your name, the only letter in your name that should be uppercase is the first letter of your name. All the other letters should be lowercase letters. So moms and dads at home, grandmas and papas, aunts, uncles, babysitters, whoever's helping you do your work, please make sure that they are only putting an uppercase letter at the beginning of their name and that all of the other letters are lowercase. That's something that a lot of times we struggle with when we get new kindergartners. They can write their name, but they're writing in all uppercase. So we want them to make sure that they're only putting the first letter uppercase. So we've talked about names today, and we've talked about rhyming today. So in your Odysseyware, one of your lessons was over rhyming words. There was videos for you to watch, and then we talked about it this morning. And also on your Google Classroom, there was an activity about Jack and Jill and rhyming words. And then you also had your name, an activity in Google Classroom with it as well. So that was our Jack and Jill, rhyming words, and names today. So also today, and also in your Google Classroom, you have letter activities. So the two letters that we're going to be talking about this morning are the letters A and the letter B. So normally what we do at the very beginning of kindergarten is we go through each day one or two letters, and we just kind of introduce all of those letters to you first, and then we'll go and focus on one letter a week. So today we're just going to talk about the letter A and the letter B. So this is an uppercase A, and you can see it's kind of like a mommy and a baby. So we have the big A, and then we have the lowercase little a. And A makes a sound. Every letter in the alphabet makes at least one sound. And A actually makes two sounds, but today we're just going to talk about the first sound it makes. So A makes the sound ah. So if you're at home and I said A, then when I point to you, you would repeat and say A. So I'm going to say A. Now it's your turn. A. And then A makes the sound ah. And then you would repeat it. Ah. And A is the first letter of words like apple, ambulance, and astronaut. And if you can see on my book, I have those letters highlighted for you so you can see that the first letter in each of those words is the letter A. Then we have the letter B. And B, there's a big B, and there is a little b. And B also makes a sound. B makes the sound B, B, B. So if you're at home and you want to practice with me, you can say the letter name, B, and then you would say B, and then I'm going to make the sound 3 times, and then you make the sound 3 times. B, B, B. Now you do it. B, B, B. And B is the first letter and the first sound that we hear in words like bear, balloon, and bus. And I also have those highlighted with red tape, the first letter of the word bear. And if you are like me, I've had a big black bear getting in my garbage every night. Even my big strong garbage bin is not keeping it away, it's trying to turn it over. So most of you may have actually seen a bear, balloon, and bus. And if you all got meals delivered to you yesterday, then you got to see a school bus bring you your meals. So today we've talked about the letters A and the letter B. So in your Google Classroom, you've got activities for letters A and B. A lot of people were having trouble accessing the slides, letting it be interactive. I think I went in and hopefully fixed that now. That was an error on my end, that I didn't upload those correctly to share it with you the right way. So hopefully those are fixed. But tune in tomorrow and we will do another morning of Calendar Center. We'll count, we'll go over the date, and we'll talk about some more letters and read some more stories. So see you guys soon. Bye.